Okay, so welcome everyone. We are live. We're super excited. Welcome to this Agent Intelligent episode. We're exploring everything AI agent, the future of Web3, the future of agent, infra around the agent. And yes, I'm Francesco. I'm contributing to Mother DAO. I'm also like leading developer relation at MetaMask. And today we're exciting and diving deep into like agent infrastructure and security around agents, bunch of like cool things with I think like I can call you like ZK Marek. You've been running a lot of like things around the ecosystem, and it's exciting actually to learn about VLayer, what you guys are doing. So welcome Marek to the show. It's an honor to have you. You want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Francesco, thank you very much for having me. It's a great pleasure to speak to you today. And yeah, I've been working in Ethereum ecosystem for I think it's gonna be 8 years to this year. So it's been a long time. We've done a bunch of different things. In the meantime, I co-founded a company in the past called ETHWorks, which was a dev house dedicated to Ethereum stuff.
Nice.
But we've been lucky to work with some of the most interesting projects in the space, including WorldCoin, a long time before it was public, when it was still in the stealth mode with the Ethereum Foundation on a few occasions. And a little cherry on top, we had a small design team that redesigned Bitcoin.org, which was originally designed by Satoshi Nakamoto himself. So that was a nice thing to work on.
Big.
And
Nice.
I was also always involved in building community. We've done a bunch of different conferences, mostly in Poland and Central Europe. And I also love to contribute to open source. I co-created two frameworks, a few different frameworks, two of which became popular, UseUp and Waffle, which was the second one was a smart contract testing framework, which was the default back in the days. Now the space is moving very fast, so not anymore it is. But recently,
So fast.
in last 2 3 years, I get interested in zero knowledge space and I would say broader cryptography space that start to develop really quickly around the blockchain. And it's super exciting because it's just the amount of stuff that is going in cryptography. It has blew exponentially in last years thanks to the money that flow from the blockchain. So I find it very satisfying. I find it very fair that the money doesn't only go to pumping the tokens uh, and, and building some of the products, but then we have that many already dexes and bridges and so on and so forth. But it also goes into fundamental stuff that kind of we can use and reuse. And out of that came VLayer. We raised 10 mil last year, led by A16Z CSX. And one of the things that kind of relates to AI agents, one of the things that we're building that relates to AI agents that I'm hoping to talk about today are web proofs and how that kind of fits into bigger AI agent space.
This is really cool. I mean, you're kind of like the OG here in the space. You've been running different kind of like verticals, and also like it's great to have someone on the stream that is kind of like two, three times kind of like founder of the technology side, right? And the fact that also you're contributing to open source, I think, is also like make a lot of people understanding why building public is extremely important around the ecosystem. And I mean, and ZK obviously is a big topic right now. Is not just a spicy topic, but it's something that people need to understand better and better. And combining this on the Asian side is extremely powerful. And I think I even like met you back in the days, like when I was looking at those videos that you were actually creating on kind of like educational tutorials and technical walkthrough. I think you being on the technical side is also bring a lot of like say builder exposure, because I think like definitely being a builder in Web3 or in this ecosystem right now is making a lot of like sense around making people understand what you're building. But okay, let's dive a little bit. Like, you want to quickly like give us like a snapshot of what actually VLayer kind of does, and what's the angle with the AI agent side, and then we can kind of like deep dive a little bit more on the AI agent kind of like
Absolutely.
landscape.
So that's funny thing because we started where we started Relay last year. We thought it's gonna be strictly blockchain startup, and the idea is we're gonna bring more data to the smart contracts. So anyone who been programming Solidity and smart contracts knows how limited smart contracts are. And one of the limitations, not the only one, but one of the limitations is they're very data starved. You only have access to the state of the blockchain, which is unlike almost any other programming. If you program in any other language, microcontrollers, whatever else, you have access to the external world, you have access to, whatever happened before or whatever happened somewhere else. So the original idea for the layer was, shall we be shall we be able to bring those external data, like for example, web data or email data, straight to the smart contracts, or other data related to smart contracts like cross-chain data or historical data, and we provide a data source that kind of allows that we can connect to the smart contracts in a way that is the data is verifiable, at least to some reasonable security parameter, right? So that we know this is actual website or this is actual email that X sent to Y, at least according to the email server. And when we bring our first version, we launched developer preview last year. We launched testnet last month, and we started talking to the customers. We discovered that one of the sources, specifically web proofs, seems to be have so much more potential, because it seems that when this idea of getting this data from the user account outside for someone else to see in a verified manner, that's already a huge enabler for a bunch of different things. And I think it's really hard to fully appreciate how valuable it is without going two steps back and understanding a little bit more about big tech itself, right? So when we look at the S&P 500, the big tech alone, big tech company, account for roughly 50% of the whole valuation of S&P 500. So this is the big tech alone is as big as all military staff, all healthcare, all finance, all energy sector, including all the oil and drilling sector, right? So that's crazy. How come a single sector, it's a new innovative stuff. Innovation tends to have this extra margin, but that's just crazy.
Hmm.
And the reason is, and it's getting closer slowly to networks and blockchain and AI agents, is that the traditional companies, they compete with economy of scale, maybe regulation. Not everybody can open a bank or an airline, right? You need to have a know-how. But in big tech, you can compete with network effect. So if you have a Facebook account and now I want you to join Farcaster, people are like, yeah, but all my friends are on Facebook. And maybe not on Facebook today, maybe they're on Twitter now, or maybe they're on somewhere else. So, which makes, by the way, Farcaster success even more amazing. But still, it's really difficult to grow anything, right? And it goes all the way through. You ain't gonna go to other video platforms than YouTube. You ain't gonna start your channel or somewhere else than YouTube, or you ain't gonna listen to music somewhere else than on Spotify, where all the music is already there, and so on and so forth, right? So it's all about network effect. And the funny thing is, back in the days, there were many companies built with network effect of Facebook. One example was Farmville. You could build there was a powerful $1 billion company built on top of Facebook because you could use Facebook network effect and you can invite your friends and do all that stuff, right? And then we also had many other companies. Many other companies was built. Instagram was built on Facebook because we shared an image and you say, oh, there's this cool app for sharing image, and you install the app, and it was network itself. So the network itself was bootstrapped from the other network effect of another network. But when network and everybody else, Twitter and everybody else understood what's going on, they closed all the APIs. And now web proofs for the first time allow you to regain some of that, some of that access to the data. Now user can take this data of his that he has shielded in his Facebook or whatever else, and he can use the data to do something with the data somewhere
Hmm.
else, right? Maybe,
Hmm.
for example, have features like invite all your friends from Facebook to a forecaster, right? Which would be difficult, and I think that especially kind of works well together with AI agents, where we often think when we think about AI agents, there's a pretty broad umbrella term now, and it's really hard
Yes,
to tell.
very. Yeah.
Is my Access script already AI agent? But the main two things I usually think when it comes to AI agents is those AI agents I run more or less locally, right? Like on my computer, and they do stuff for me. There is this seems to be this new thing coming where it screenshots your screen or your browser or whatever, kind of reads what's there, and you can tell it to do, schedule me a meeting, can you find me a time, can you it's coming, it's a long time coming, everybody talks about it. I didn't see much of that yet, but it seems to be
Yeah.
happening. And then there's this second kind of similar type where you kind of the same, but it's kind of on the server when you put your credentials there and kind of works for you, and do stuff, right? So this is what AI agents are for me. I know there's like at least five different things that AI agents
Yeah.
are. You have a great article I was reading, kind of is going more in this second area. You kind of have those agents
Yes.
on the server and they kind of work together, right? So I think that's also we didn't see any spectacular production implementation of that yet,
Hmm.
but everybody can sense it's coming, right? It's like it's
Yes.
gonna take time to figure out. People try it on hackathons, build startups. It's always things are usually slower to start than it seems at the beginning. Like everybody's,
Of
it's
course,
gonna,
yeah. We're still in testing phase, right? And I think
yeah.
there is a lot of things happening. I mean, what I'm hearing from you is the communication, also like part from agent to agent, kind of like an inevitable like way that we will go. But also, like I want to say, like agents has been always being around, like into the Web2 space, right? The fact that now you can bring this to Web3 rails full on-chain data visibility is visibility and how do you say like innovation power to agents because collaboration agent, as you kind of like mentioned, collaboration agent is something that is getting more and more. But I also like I still think we have very basic use case happening right now. I mean, I see mostly the two one, like the social agents like EXBT already managing, the kind of like autonomous social side, and then mostly like DeFi agent, starting to manage treasury, rebalancing maybe like token funds. These kind of things are very interesting. But apart of that, I'm not seeing much. But I mean, as you said, also like it's still very the start right there. And maybe like a question like for you is kind of like you kind of touch a little bit, but what are the trends that you're seeing right now? I know we are super early, but is there any specific trends that you see around the age and development, maybe even around frameworks? Because I think like when we talked around the DevCon, you were testing different kind of frameworks coming also from Python, from Eliza to Lagrange. So like, what is kind of like the trends that you see around the Asian builders right now?
Well, the funny thing, and I think this is like blockchain guilty as charged, and it's not different for AI agents. We see more frameworks and work around, technical stuff, and less really figuring out how to make valuable things for the user. So that's always funny. But yeah, that was always the case for in the blockchain space. I think I would even more encourage people to kind of look for real life, and we're guilty as charged. We're building infrastructure ourselves. So again, that's again going into this technical stuff instead of going back closer to the customers. But we've been working a lot with the customers and sensing what they need. So those are some of those things I'm talking about are real life insights from working with the customers. So this way or the other, I think, yeah, I think we're gonna see more of that customer facing stuff coming. I still didn't see anything that really like we talk about those ideas. There's nothing that like I see someone build like on hackathons and like, whoa, this is
Yeah, yeah.
future. So So I wonder, is there anything in your mind, or anything you saw
Uh,
recently?
I mean,
Kind of.
I see very kind of like basic, like so I believe that verticalization will definitely be the direction to go. There is still people like kind of like saying we can build, trained containers, basically running full capacity, different type of agents. I believe like we're going in the other direction where vertical agent, and then we will have agent to agent collaborations. But that's kind of like my idea because right now you see the space like we're training LLMs, so we're not trying to build like generalized LLMs. I feel like people will start running their own trained pre-compiled data containers so that basically users can just take it and spin it from there, and it will have basically like light basically pre-trained LLMs. For example, on agent side, I think would be very similar, where you will go to all your very specific DeFi agent that we actually do one specific thing, right? Rebalancing your own on-chain funds. Or like you will go to your social agent that will help you coordinating around socials specific things. But also like I think there will be also non-consumable agents from the user perspective because agent we also service different agents. We saw that when we started doing the convo agent to agent, they switch language to be more efficient, right? It was so
Mhm.
interesting this chat, but yeah. So the detail, like I also like want to understand from you, like you said, okay, we are so early, you didn't see like enough kind of like innovation out there. Like I want to approach the question from the other side. What do you think are the gaps right now on the infra side for agent builders? Why we're not getting there, or why it's not still happened? I know we are also early, right? But maybe you also like kind of say there are some infrastructural gaps we need to fill first.
I don't think so. I generally agree with everything you said, and especially specialized agents, kind of collaboration, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think there is that much missing from the infrastructure as of today. I think, honestly, I think we just spending too much time on infra. So there is, back in the days. Actually, that's how Waffle was created. Back in the days, there was a saying. I'm from this old school, early 2000s software engineering school, and there was a saying back then: "Good frameworks are extracted, not written." And this was how I created Waffle. We were working on a project back then. It was Truffle before Waffle, and we were working Waffle, and it kind of misses a lot of, like, it was difficult to see what events were emitted and all the stuff that is specific for the smart contract, like events emit specific behavior of the smart contracts. And so we start writing custom matchers. Then that was not enough. We need mocking and more and more, and eventually we extracted that to a library, make a post announcement, and so on, right? And I think the best approach to go for AI agents is really, start with a bare open AI API, or whichever is your favorite. And when you kind of it starts working, it does things. It can be a local script running in the loop or whatever. Then you can start, then it makes sense only to look for the framework and see if there's any, when you have very specific problem. And again, I made this mistake quite a lot of time, including even in V-Layer, where we started building with some assumptions what users need, and then when we kind of build our version, went out to the customers, it's like, oh yeah, this is valuable stuff, but we want it a little bit differently, right? So, so I
Yes.
think, so I think this is, and in a way, we've been extremely lucky in a sense that we make a huge bet on a specific space, and yeah, we see a lot of traction there. But it could have been that, like, it's just a nice a cryptographic toy that nobody really needs that much. And that I think happens a lot to many startups. And even in our space, even when we see in general there's traction, like people are getting sidetracked to specific technical challenges rather than building a customer facing
Yes.
product. So yeah.
This is a good point. But can you give us? This is very interesting because can you give us some like kind of like example on where you see, for example, companies. You don't need to mention names, but what is actually how builders can avoid this, because I also like feel personally sometimes like I feel like I go in this kind of like technical rabbit hole, and I'm feeling I'm not actually solving at the end what the user actually wants. Like, I mean, I would
I
like to
think
learn also like the lesson learned that you
it's
had in
very
the
simple.
past.
I remember several months ago, it was very so my co-founder Hubert, CEO at Villayer, he took me to a few call with the customers, and just they have specific technical questions. Can you help answering? And every single call, it was like two, maybe second, maybe third call, and I was like, I'm spending my days thinking about those technical details. Does a customer want this or that? They don't care. This is what they want, and it's really
Yes.
it's becoming really obvious after just a few calls with the customers. And I'm super lucky to have a co-founder that is relentless in finding potential customers and talking to them. And I think this is the prerequisite for a successful company to build, is just having someone who is excited about talking with customers, getting early feedback, go to
Makes sense.
market, sales, depending on the stage of the
Yeah.
company. And I really feel
Yes.
when it goes to when it comes to agents, I really feel like, I'm going to my writing my email. Why am I writing emails still? It's crazy that I need to write emails. It's like it could be fully generated by AI. It's like I could literally just type a hint, like agree, disagree, just three words. If agree, then next step, maybe find time, right? Or that would be literally agree, find time could be literally the whole mail, and the whole mail could be like, good evening, sir, if it's more official, or it could be hi, John, if it's less official, right? And it's like, let's meet, if it's more official, and so on, right? Like the whole tone of the email could be based on the previous conversations, and so it's just such a simple product to build. Google is not building that for some reason. They're building it, but they're building it for 2 years now. Apple is building that for 2 years now, and we all know how successful Apple Intelligence
Yes.
is. And yeah, and I think it's a very simple product to build on a hackathon, for example. And you have that, you show it to people. Do you want to use it? And start from there, right? And this is just an example. That's a pretty trivial product, but just to show you how off we are as a community of builders. Oftentimes, too often, I would say majority of the times, we're not talking to our customers. We're not fine tuning interfaces and
That's true. Yeah.
experiences. We're focusing on those deep
Yes.
technical things.
And in Web3 specifically, like I think customer are also community, right? I feel sometimes we're not hearing enough like community
Yeah.
members. They have specific feedbacks. We're not even doing like, you know, it doesn't really bother people when you're like sliding the DM and you're saying, hey, do you have any feedback from what I'm building? Is it actually right that we should prioritize those specific features that we want to ship? I think also hearing more and more the community is so underappreciated, and I think agents, one specific use case could be actually very interesting, like is distribution, and agent will help distribution of, could be announcement, could be also getting feedback in house, and then you will be kind of like the human side to actually say this is what we're implementing. But at least bringing kind of like the main feedbacks in house is something that
And
it
it's
will
so
help a
easy
lot.
now because everybody is hunting for
Hmm.
airdrops. So it's easy to build a
Oh
community,
yeah,
and
yeah,
a lot of this community are AI agents. They're not real stuff, but there is always some
yes.
people inside that want to gain your,
Oh yeah,
and
of course.
it's easy to
Uh,
do a lot of simple tasks with people, whether it's quantitative or qualitative, whether it's like just getting a bunch of people to on a call with you and play with you with the stuff, or having a 1,000 people install your
yes,
stuff and see if they're still using it after a week.
yes.
And I think, honestly, one of the best AI agent builders today are airdrop farmers. And that's something that like that's real stuff. Like that, those people are getting really good, and yeah, like there is
Yeah,
a real
100%,
market need,
100%.
it seems. Which
Yes,
in
of course.
turn,
Yeah, and the use
which we've
case.
seen, I think we're a
Yeah,
little bit delayed. I think that already happened like last year, and when the airdrops kind of like there was the whole turn off on the airdrops. Everybody was like, yeah,
yeah,
airdrops are not.
yeah.
Did the right people get it, and so on. But again, I think it's a great example when web proofs can shine, because we even thought, wouldn't it be great to do our Android, because we're in this cryptography community, right? Where we use work
Hmm.
of a lot of people before us. There is a long chain of papers that leads. There is a lot of research happening by many people that leads into specific ZK technology or specific web proof technology, right? So, like, wouldn't it be great to have a web proof that you authored a paper on the topic, right? And can
That
you
would be
see
cool.
it, and it's totally doable, right? And very few people are doing it right now. And can you feel like that can work together with AI agent, when AI agent say, oh yeah, this paper kind of looks like it's ZK TLS related or whatever else related, and that's one part of the proof. And the second part of the proof is like, this is, yeah, this guy is here as an author of that specific paper.
Yeah, and this, yeah, but this will help also building, let's say, agent reputation systems really full in public,
Exactly.
right? And I feel like with the modern DAO, the idea is to build this kind of like public registry of agents, having on-chain social graphs of agents. But I think also like VK
That's
will help
exactly
a
what I'm
lot
talking about, and I
on that.
think we're getting finally to the gist of it, which is I've been talking earlier about this, how shielded is our data by big tech community, by big tech space, right? I think what we can
Yes.
do now is, and I'm gonna use it. Some people say it's negative, have negative connotation, vampire attack, but I think it's really important that we should probably get new name for it, which is like massive amount of data are coming back to the user heads or something like that, right? Where we have, when we can build web free stuff, not web 2 stuff, not another Facebook, not another Twitter, something more like forecaster or something more decentralized, where people can, authorize their position. They can use their existing, leverage their existing data, whether it's reputation, social graph, in this new space, right? And we should be able,
Yes.
because we have tokens, right? We have tokens, which is a powerful network accelerate tool for accelerating network growth, right? That Web2 doesn't have. Web2 doesn't have tokens, right? So we can use those tokens to attract people to new stuff that is more decentralized. And using AI agents, using web proofs, we can get their data, we can get their reputation, and we can bootstrap new communities. And I think that's the ultimate
Yeah.
vision for the Web3. So I'm really hoping this is pretty bold vision. There is a lot of proofs on the
Yes.
way there, but I really hope that's really gonna
Oh
help
yeah.
unlock this Web3 vision we have around for
Yes. That's very cool.
decentralized.
Yeah. So I feel, yeah, I feel we're getting there, right? Yeah, fully decentralized, kind of permissionless innovation. Also, like getting, also like building public on that sense. I know we're almost out of time. We definitely need to a part two. But I wanted to ask you, like, before I'm asking you on the kind of delay your specific question is, so how? I mean, if you want to say we are too early, I mean, but we actually need to build this kind of like next generation of agents. Like, we also need to define what success means. What success means for you, and what metrics you will actually like I would say know if was a success or not. Like obviously at the end of the day, the end goal is satisfy the agent consumer or the future agent that will consume the other agent. Uh, but what are the metrics out there? Well, I mean, how we can define success? Like, what is your
I
thought on that?
mean, I don't think there's anything really innovative to say in context of AI agent versus anything else that you build. Like there can be various metrics
That's a good point.
depending on where you are, whether you build a commercial product, and obviously you want to measure users, retention, and eventually profit, or at least revenue. Sometimes you want to focus more on building something based on network effects. So network effect is very close to us in Web
Yes.
2 and very close to us in Web 3.
Oh yeah.
So maybe you don't want to measure, like physical money, because that might something you want to get later too, but you want to build how big is your community, how involved is your community, how many active users, how many, this and that, right? So and we could iterate over, whether it's open source projects or whatever else, then it's a little bit different. There are a lot of vanity metrics you have to be aware of. You probably don't want to, it's not necessarily very wise to look too much into stars on GitHub. It's a good very early
Hmm.
indication,
Hmm.
but seeing dependent projects that actually use it is more interesting. But then, the difference is
Yes.
Uniswap is using you and 1,000 hackathon projects. It's a little bit two different things, right? So it's a little bit tricky,
Yes.
but yeah, there is a whole books on how to do metrics. So I don't think it makes sense to too
Nice.
deep.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I
it's
think probably adoption.
always
Yeah.
real stuff, real users, real people who,
Mm-hmm.
when the tokens go
Nice.
away, when the airdrops go away, who's when the dust will
Yeah.
settle, how much people are still there.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, building we're always speaking about the same at the end, like building resilient community is what really matters around an ecosystem, right? You want to build not just pre-TG or post-TG, but we want to actually build a low funnel efforts to help builders through all the way. And I think this is super important. Okay, Marek, like, so what's going on the V-Layer side in terms of kind of like what's happening next, what you guys are planning to ship? What is relevant for also like the agent out there? They should check out your docs. What
Um,
like you're building tutorials for
so
actually like some use case. Give us some
Absolutely.
info.
Thank you for asking. Yeah, we recently shipped our testnet and we're full steam ahead towards mainnet. We are already in audit, so we expect to be on mainnet this spring. And there's great tools for connecting your smart contracts to all those different data sources. And I can give you a little bit inner leak of what we're working on. We're working on a version of the web proofs that can work without blockchain, completely separate, and that will be the ones that will specifically be very attractive for the AI agents creators. So stay tuned with us. We're not there yet, but we should show some. We should be able to show something. Yeah, any month now.
Nice. Nice. We're looking forward also to some like kind of like could be demo or links that you also want to share. And I think probably we'll see each other in some kind of next IRL hackathon or conference, probably like an ECC or something. But in the meantime, please also like send over like some kind of like links of could be like tutorials for those builders or even like updates around the docs that you want people to see. So it's just an exciting time, and also like I think Vilayer does an amazing job on the ZK side, and I think you can really provide a lot of like sub developer tooling for AI agent builders out there because we need to build social graph for agents, we need to be public registry for agents, and we also need to start thinking about agent to agent collaboration, meaning building specs and frameworks or standards around how agents are actually like coordinated with other agents. I think that's also like a big part. So, I mean, thank you so much, Ziggy Marek, to be around and to actually like share your 30 minutes time here with this live stream. And I think it's super useful for all the builders out there hearing you and your kind of like lesson learned and the insights around both ZK but also like on the agent side. Any
Thank
closing
you.
words you want to kind of mention?
No, just wanna say thank you for having me today. It's very exciting times. I'm looking forward to see progress on MotherDAO side as well. And yeah,
Sounds
keep
good.
building. Thank you very much,
Awesome,
guys.
awesome. There you are. Keep building, keep building. Okay, sounds good. Thanks so much, everybody, for this agent kind of like episode. For everyone is watching, so we launched officially the DAO officially launch. Model is out there. If you're building cool stuff, you're building agent, you're building frameworks. Feel free also to reach out. We have actually like I think a very technical channel in the Hello Mother Discord that actually give you the opportunity to present or just share your repo of the agent you're building, and you can actually like come and present. We're always open to hear your thought about that. So until that time, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody that was coordinating the live stream. There is a lot of work happening on supporting these efforts. And until then, Ziki Marek, thank you so much. And I probably see you IRL or in the metaverse if you see
Looking
someone.
forward.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye bye. Bye bye.